Well, welcome back to our Every Move Collective Weekly Agent Power Hour. These were formerly known as our Monday Masterminds. They were bi-monthly. Now we're doing them weekly. Really glad that you decided to join us today. We're going to be learning from Brent Conley about 7 ways to land listings in today's market. I'm Colby. I'm joined, as always, by my mom, Eva, my brother, Dylan, the rest of our Every Move Collective family. We run a bi-coastal top producing team out of Westchester County, New York, Connecticut, Los Angeles. We also run Every Move Collective with eXp Realty, which produces these weekly calls every Thursday. It's really supposed to be a space to foster learning, networking, community. Please drop your market in the chats. We love for people to develop referral relationships as a result of being in this room. Any agent, regardless of company or experience level, is always welcome here. We believe strongly in collaboration over competition. If you're able to turn your cameras on, thank you for those who already have their cameras on. If you don't and you're able to, we highly welcome it. We know how easy it is to get distracted when we're off camera. Don't be shy. Definitely ask questions as we move through the presentation today. Yeah, raise your hand, jump in. We typically are going to be having a little marketing segment on these calls. Tony and Jake are traveling this week and we're unavailable, but in the weeks to come, you'll be able to kind of rely on this like 10-minute marketing segment that will be a staple part of our agent power hours. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce Brent Conley. Brent is a member of our organization within eXp. He's sold over 4,000 homes in his 24-year career. He's based out of Arizona and California, runs a team and an organization with his amazing wife. And we asked him to come on and talk to you a little bit about what's worked well for him as he's built his career and just share with you so that you can, implement some of those amazing insights into your business. So I'll let Brent further introduce himself. And Brent, if you need to, I don't know if you're planning to share slides, but if you are, just it will probably prompt you to ask for permission, and I'll grant that, obviously.
I probably won't share slides
Cool.
because I never know what kind of room I'm in, and so if this is going to be interactive or me talking, which is either one's totally fine. Hey everybody, my name is Brent Conley, eXp Realty, and I do have a real estate team for the last 24, 25 years in Arizona, based out of Scottsdale, and we cover the entire valley. And in North San Diego County. I used to I started my career in Arizona, and I built a brokerage to 420 agents and ended up selling the C21 years ago before I joined eXp Realty. So I still go back and forth. I have teams in both locations. I owned a property management company for 13 years. And my partner for 13 years, I just gave it to him to run, and he was doing real estate, couldn't come over to eXp for the laws and all that stuff. Anyways, I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about today. And since I don't know how diverse this group is with experience, I'm assuming it's all over the board. I'm gonna touch on things that if you're an experienced agent, you're gonna be like, yeah, I already know that. And that's cool. Just bear with me. Some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you, you may not have implemented in your business, and maybe this can take you to the next level or give you things to think about of how to coach and train some of your agents on your teams across the country. I always start off with teaching agents of, what skills do you need to learn so you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So if you write that down, what skills do I need to learn, in short? And the reason why I always start with that is because a lot of us know that we have one or two different directions that we're trying to go, and we're not really thinking about that question in order to get us to the next level. And it's very important to understand, like, what do I need to learn? So, like right now, I'm trying to learn AI, and we'll get to that a little bit here in this class. But it's daunting to go through everything. But if I just take a little bit a day, every single day, I'm going to start learning a little bit more. So maybe that's part of your business in farming. Maybe it's it is expireds and FSBOs and all of those things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right. So I also believe that agents should have 3 to 4 pillars of business consistently. And so I would write that down. What 3 or 4 pillars of business am I needing to master, right? And you can only master one at a time, and in order to get a stable and duplicatable business. Now, definitely write that down. How do I create a stable and duplicatable business for the next 20 years? Maybe it's 10 years to you till you retire, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, whatever that is very important. And a lot of times agents don't think about how do I create a stable business and a duplicatable business where the business is coming to me consistently. If I do these activities, it's going to come to me consistently. The next question I want you to write down is who do I need to become? Okay, this is one of my old mentors, Jim Rohn. And I've changed the wording to who must I become to have the business that I want to have so I never have to worry about where my next deal is coming from or my next paycheck. So a lot of times agents don't think through these things and they're chasing that next deal versus working on themselves. And you have to work on yourselves. You have to work on your skills in order to become that person that can walk through a luxury home. And I'm going to use that as an example, that can walk through a luxury home and not blink an eye on how beautiful it is, like it's a standard in your world. Because if you're an average agent and say your price range is $200,000 to $400,000, which some parts of America that's the case, and you've never been into a $7 million house, those are two completely different things. But if you walk on that listing appointment because you got a referral or whatever, and you go on a listing appointment on a $7 million house, you're like, wow, your house is beautiful versus this is standard, then you're at a disadvantage because the seller's going to sniff that out. Does that make sense? So this morning, a friend of mine texted me. I was at the gym, 6:15. Hey, I need help getting this golf cart. We got a photo shoot. And I was like 5 minutes from his house. Oh, let me go see if I can help you get this golf cart going for your photo shoot. Couldn't get it done. He's like, well, I'm building a house, a spec home down the street. And I posted on Facebook earlier today. And so I'm there by 7 a.m. for sure. And it was probably like 6:45 a.m. And I'm touring a house in Paradise Valley that's going to be probably listed at somewhere in around $14-15 million. Beautiful view, all that. But I'm not going to get that opportunity unless I'm engaged, right? And I'm becoming that person, or I am that person that deserves that opportunity. So think about that. So who do I need to become in order to create those opportunities and to have the business that I want to have? The mindset of that is so important. And you really have to put work into some of this stuff. Don't just take the surface level answer, dig deep 6 or 7 times, because you really are going to find things that maybe it's the way you dress. Maybe it's the cleanliness of your car. Maybe it's all of this stuff. And it's the little things that need to be adjustment, and be harsh on yourself. And it's really difficult to do that. So if you're harsh on yourself, nothing else out there is going to ever take you off your path. So think about that. All right. I want you to write down, who do I need to partner with in order to get the business that I want? So I have a 20-year history of selling foreclosures. I still have the same clientele, some of the same clientele. Some of it's changed. Some have switched companies today as I did 18, 20 years ago. And those relationships have carried over, and they went dormant. They went quiet for years. And so when the business, I see an uptick in that business, of course, they're on Facebook and all that stuff. And I stay in touch with them. I'm making phone calls, see how they're doing. I helped a lot of them get jobs when they got laid off the last time. And I'm still in relationship. I'm still in a business relationship with them. And so one of those relationships I have 3 listings with right now in 2 different states. And so who do I need to partner with? Now, that's an example of try to get listings. Now, who do you need to partner with? Maybe you're really fantastic at the back office and you're not that great at being in front of people. That's okay. So let's utilize that skill and say, who do I need to partner with to get me a front person, a front facing person that has the skill set, has the personality that everybody loves, that is diligent in this specific aspect, and I can utilize that in my business so I can win and they can win. So growing any business out there, it's not all the stuff that you have to do. You have to be the director. You have to be the person that's thinking of ways to partner with people that have specific skill sets so you can absorb them onto your team or into your business somehow, some way, and figure out how to win that way. And a small piece of the pie is better than no pie, right? So think about that, write that down. Who do I need to partner with? And we're going to get to all this stuff. I'm going to talk really fast and try to get through all my content as fast as I possibly can. And we'll open up for questions and all that stuff and see if I can help you guys with specific things in your business. Okay, so who do I need to communicate effectively with to get the listings that I want? So a lot of people drive by FSBOs. They don't stop the car. That's not communicating with the FSBO to get the listing, right? You're like, man, I wish I could list that house. It's $1 million and you just drove by. That happens all the time. Let me use that as an example. I've seen it happen. I've done it, right? And I didn't stop the car for whatever reason. Doesn't even matter. But if I really want that listing, if I really want to increase my business, I've got to stop that car. I got to go knock on the door. I got to be friendly. I got to put on my face and say, hey, I'm a local real estate agent. I want to preview your property. That can make a big difference because how many real estate agents drove past that listing, right? And I'm going to say it's a listing, not with an agent. It's a FSBO. How many people drove past that and didn't stop the car? Are you at a greater advantage of getting that listing when you're talking to that person versus not, right? So some of this stuff is basic, but we have to be reminded on some of this stuff because our habits are affecting us. So we have to change some of the habits, and it's really difficult to change some of these habits unless we call it out, unless we start working on it. And it's going to feel uncomfortable. It will absolutely feel uncomfortable when you do it the first time. If you can get to 100 times, you're going to be wealthy and it's not going to feel uncomfortable. You're like, this is normal business. Okay. So think about that. All right. So the next thing is, how do I need to act? So I reached out to a friend of mine. This is like 4 or 5 months ago, and he was posting mobile homes. And he's been in business for 30 years. I'm like, dude, you list luxury homes, you list higher end homes, your price point's probably $1 million plus. Maybe it's low side 800,000. And I've seen you list a couple mobile homes. Oh, they're from clients and parents' houses and stuff like that. I'm like, well, that's not doing your social media any good because your clientele is literally revolted against that. It's not matching your normal message, which is okay once in a while, but you don't want to downgrade yourself. So how do you need to act? And so think about every aspect of your business and your life of how are you acting in it and what is the image it's portraying to other people? Is that offending other people? And can you do without that business? If it's okay, then that's okay. I got friends that are totally political on both sides. They don't care one way or the other. No problem. It does affect their business. They don't care. And that's okay. That's their choice. And so your choice is, how am I acting? How am I perceived? Because everybody, and write this down, everybody is always watching. Everything you do, everything's recorded, everything is videoed, everybody is watching all the time. And it may not have a direct correlation on business today, but tomorrow, let's say that someone's family member passes or their neighbor needs to sell their house, and you did something, you didn't dress appropriate or whatever the case may be, and you were acting out of a professional real estate agent that can solve problems, right? Because we forget that we're living life, everybody's living life, everybody's into what they're into, all that stuff. But you have to be prepared to say, hey, I might lose business for being me, and that's okay. But if I don't have any business and I'm reaching out to everybody, maybe there's something off. Maybe for, and I tell this to my agents all the time. I've done this for years. I learned this from one of my mentors. And like, for women, don't dress in swimsuits trying to go get listings. That doesn't work for the wife. Okay. It might work for the husband. It's not going to work for the wife. You're not getting that listing. If you dress sexy, you're not going to get that listing. Cover up. And for the dudes that show up in flip-flops and shorts and somebody shows up in a business suit, guess who's getting the listing? The dude in the flip-flops and shorts is not getting the listing when you're up against somebody in a business suit. So we have to think about how we're acting, how we're communicating. And everything is communication, verbal and nonverbal, right? Visual. And everything's visual on Instagram. Everything's visual on Facebook. So they can't get an intellectual pathway into your mind. They can't make that judgment that you're a fantastic real estate agent unless the visual matches. So think about that. The visual has to match. Your actions matter. All of them. So the next thing I wrote down, and hopefully this is not too in your face. This is all designed to help everybody here on the call and give you things to really consider, and then you be the judge of what you're going to implement into your business. All right. What do I need to do on a daily basis to ensure the success or the listings that I want to be attracted to me? So that goes back to social media. That goes back to my actions. And we're going to get to prospecting here in a minute. But what do I need to do on a daily basis? I know a real estate agent that I'll call them every 2 or 3 weeks, and I hear the TV on in the background at like 10:30 in the morning. I know without a doubt there's distractions in this agent's life because I can hear the TV. He's older. He's like 62 years old or something. He's probably watching news or something. I don't know exactly what it's at, but I hear the TV at 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, dude, you got to go work. Those actions are not producing results for the business that you want to have. We've got to change some of the things, some of the habits that we have in order to get the results that we want. So we have to consider that. And it's so important. Don't overlook that piece of it. All right. The next thing is, how can I have the mindset to do so much work? Now I'm going to scare all of you guys. You guys are all going to hang up on us. All right. To do so much work, so much marketing, so much outreach that it would be unreasonable to fail. And I'm going to combine that with the next one I wrote down. And the next one, I've used in multiple businesses, including my real estate business, including going after REO, including going after specific listings that I really, really wanted. Omnipresence. I want you to write down omnipresence. And what that means is being everywhere. Marketing where you keep showing up in person and online, in the mail. So if you think about this, and I'm going to use an expired listing as an example. We could do the same thing with REO. We could do the same thing with FSBOs, same thing with your own clientele. Omnipresence is vital to a real estate agent's business. Because if they see you on Facebook and they switch over to Instagram, they see you on Instagram, they switch over to TikTok or whatever, they see you on there. And believe me, they're checking all these sources. They absolutely are. Now they're going to AI. They're typing your name into AI to see if they should invite you over for a listing, right? Now, your own clientele, your sphere of influence, your past clientele, your friends and family, your cousins of family members, and all that stuff are looking you up. They're looking at what you're presenting online, how you conduct yourself online, and that's part of omnipresence. So now, if we use that, all of our online, what we have out there, what we're presenting, and we have fantastic marketing material, and we bring it to an expired listing, and let's say we mailed it, which we're mailing EXP luxury books to luxury listings that we want. And we're also hitting those on canceled and temporary off the markets, which we got in trouble recently for that one. Don't do that. Temporary off the market means it's under contract. We're like, oops, tell the assistant not to send that one to that person. And so omnipresence is they get something in the mail, then you friend request them on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and their name is their name, right? And you go to the door, and then they get something else in the mail. Are they seeing you over and over and over again? Maybe you commented on one of their social media things, so they see your name again. Maybe you hit the like button so they see your name again. Omnipresence is relentless marketing in many, many different ways. Maybe you're paying for Facebook video or YouTube videos to be marketed, and it keeps coming up because it's retargeting them. So all of that helps your chances of building the business that you want on specific targets like a FSBO or an expired or your clientele. And it also works geographically. So if you think about that geographically, if you add that to farming into a specific neighborhood, there's 400-500 homes that you want to list in a specific area. How do you create omnipresence for that neighborhood? How do I dominate that neighborhood? Well, I want to hit it with mail. I want to hit it with online. I want to hit it on a private Facebook group. I want to hit it on, in person with mailers, on the doorstep, hosting a party in the neighborhood, hosting open houses in the neighborhood. You see where I'm going with that? Kind of jumped ahead because that was on my list. All right, so database. So omnipresent goes into database, right? Because if you're calling and you're mailing to them, you're posting and you're commenting on them, you're sending them links. Hey, I just listed this fantastic house. Hey, come to my client appreciation party. I've got 3 every year. Bring your friends, bring the people that want to buy and sell real estate this year. I've got them all free tickets. Omnipresence in your database is huge. If you got 100 people in your database, that should be 5, 6 referrals minimum, maybe 10. So I would write down, how do I get a 10%, how do I get 10 referrals out of 100 people in my database? Well, just marketing alone is not going to work. Oh, I have them on I talked to an agent here the other day. And she's not going to join my team. I'm totally fine with it. She's got 100 people in her database. She's having a title company email her database her newsletter. So, how connected is this real estate agent to her database if she's not even sending out her own newsletter? So, my next follow up question when I'm talking to her is, well, how often do you call your database? Oh, I haven't talked to them in 3 or 4 years. I'm just emailing them. Oh, well, tell me about your email. Oh, well, I'm not really doing it. My title company's doing it. So you gave your entire database to the title company to take care of that. You don't know what's being sent out. No, but they send out pretty good stuff. This is why we have to think through some of the things that we're doing. It sounds great to hand some of this stuff off to, hey, I'm going to be your assistant. But if you don't know what they're sending out, if you're not calling through and trying to build relationships and pull, you're not going to get referrals. She's wondering why she's not getting referrals. She's like, some of these people I've sold them like 40 houses out of that 100 people. I don't get any referrals. So I can fix her business really quick. Like host a client party, invite everybody, but you have to call them and encourage them to bring everybody that they know. Spend a couple grand on that party and, plan for 200 and maybe 150 show up if it's good enough. And then you just increase your database and now you just gave back to your community. Now you're back into relationship with them. And being back in relationship with them allows you the opportunity to send them a new listing, to send them the best price home in the MLS that's perfect for a rental property. It allows you the opportunity to thank them for coming to your client appreciation party and to ask them how you can help serve them. How can I help serve you? Not, hey, do you know anybody that needs to buy or sell real estate? I need a deal. You see where I'm going with that? We have to think through some of the stuff that we're doing in order to get the results that we want. So if we start in the end in mind, how do I want to be perceived? That's one of the questions. How am I acting? This all ties together. Okay. And so same thing, the database, part of your past clients, calling, mailing, posting, client events, commenting on theirs, because what's going to make the difference is not you, it's them. What's important to them? And so if they're posting, and let's say they're working, they're a secretary at some office, and let's use Microsoft, and they're like, oh, I love Microsoft, da da da. She obviously has a network. If she's going, I'm gonna just use she, if she's going into the office and she loves her company. Well, how I started out is all the people I knew that worked in the office, I would throw pizza parties into the office because I wanted in that office. I would bring them pizzas. I would bring them soda. I would still do this today. This still would work. And I got to expand my database by that person because they appreciated all the free food and stuff. And then by their entire office. And guess who got the credit? I didn't get the credit. I gave her the credit. I gave him the credit because they're the connection, right? And then now I'm absorbing people into the database. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Same thing with expireds. Oh, I made phone calls today. Okay, great. How many times did you call them? Oh, I just called once. They didn't answer. Okay. How about we call them again? If they're not on the do not call list, right? They haven't registered. You can call them as many times as you want. Will people answer if you call them 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row? They're probably going to answer like, who's calling me? Somebody that I know. That's your opportunity. Now, is that annoying for a lot of people? Yeah, some people. Some people are going to appreciate it depending on what scripting you use. And I don't have time to go through scripting today, but there's an effective way when they answer to start talking to them as a human being and to see if they're going to relist the property. Hey, I have a buyer for your property. Or do you think they're just going to hang up the phone? Maybe. But two, three out of 10 are going to be like, oh, tell me about your buyer. I'd still want to help sell my house. Now, FSBOs, we talked about this earlier about driving by, stop the car and get out and go introduce yourself, go preview the property. But you can call them so you don't waste a lot of time. And if you didn't drive by a whole bunch of them, that's totally fine. They're willing to talk to you. They don't have very many people calling them, especially in some of the markets across the country. Some of the markets in the country are slow. Some of them are in distress. Like Florida, I talked to a friend of mine here the other day in Florida, and their market is somewhat distressed. And Arizona is slow. California, if it's, we got multiple offers on multiple houses. So some of this stuff, and I don't know everybody's market, but, there's different conditions. So you have to think different ways in order to try to get that business. And so if you're going to bring marketing material to a FSBO, make sure it's classy, make sure it's in their best interest. So here's the thing. What if the marketing material was all about their house and selling FSBO versus all about you? Because remember, what's in it for them? What's in it for them to talk to you, to build a relationship with you? It's not about you at this point. Yes, you want the business, but I promise you, if you bring them a gift of, hey, I made you some really cool marketing material. I just love your house from the exterior. Can I preview it from the interior so I can see if I have a buyer in my database? Now, everybody with EXP that has Bull Trail or have Lofty or whatever I don't know what the other one is. And everybody that has Sync out there or Boomtown and all these other platforms, everything that is in your back office, in your database, your online lead database, that's different than your sphere of influence database, online lead, internet lead database, for that city is a presentation tool for a FSBO. It's a presentation tool for an expired. It's a presentation tool for your sphere of influence. And every single listing presentation you go on, you should print out a copy of how many leads you have in that system. You have real buyers in your system looking every single day, and you can take that to confirm, right? You're showing proof that you market for that city, for that neighborhood, and you have buyers to call if they list with you. Do you see it? Do you connect the dots on that? See how that works? So, and if you're using that to your sphere of influence and you just send that as a mailer and say, hey, I've got this many buyers looking for homes and they don't like everything on the market because the reason why they don't like it, they haven't reached out to say, I want to go see this house. So I can use that in a mailing campaign. I can use that talking to other people that might want to list their house with you. So think about how to connect those dots and use that as a presentation tool. All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry, I talk a lot. Tell me if I'm out of time and all that stuff, so I'm not even looking.
No, your timing's great. And this
All
is
right,
all great
so
info.
okay, so we're doing well with cash offer leads. So if you're running campaigns right now, there's a lot of people that are expiring in many markets. That's a really good way to go that way. Now, if they expired, they may want a cash offer. I know it sounds strange because we think everybody wants full price for their house. But if we actually look at the data and the history and the proof and the results for the last 3, 4, 5 years, then we look at companies like Zillow, we look at companies like Open Door and OfferPad, which are pretty heavy in Phoenix, along with all the wholesalers, along with all the flip people. We know that there's a tremendous amount of inventory that sells directly to iBuyers. EXP has a whole iBuyer program. You can take the class for an hour or something, and you can actually take offers with you because you'll know their buy box. Maybe it's 70 cents on the dollar, maybe it's 80 cents on the dollar, depending on the market. And now you know what the iBuyer is willing to pay. You can basically bring an offer on a listing presentation, which some people will do. The wholesalers are given an offer on their listing presentation. Think about what I just said there. Wholesalers are giving them their offer on the presentation, right? They're walking through the house and they're like, yep, I'll pay, I'm just going to use this as an example. It's $500,000 house, full market value. You know what? I can't, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I can't pay 500,000 because I'm an investor. I have to make a profit, but I don't have to do paint and carpet. It's going to cost me 30 grand to do paint and carpet on this house, 1,500 square feet. And everything else is pretty good to go. I could actually close in a week, but my offer is going to be 400,000. And that person's going to say yes or no. And some people say yes, believe it or not. It's shocking, but they say yes all the time. I have a friend of mine that just sold his house that I was going to take the listing, and he registered on a website, said, hey, this person says they're going to get me 557 and they're going to take over the solar. He had a solar lease on it for like 15 grand. And the house all fixed up was 719. And I'm like, and he needed a lot of work on his house. He didn't do any maintenance for 15 years when I sold it to him 15 years ago. And I'm like, if they'll pay that, like we'd have to put 30 grand into it and I can get you another 30 grand. On top of that, we can double your money that way. He didn't have 30 grand. And he sold it for that price. Now, I think the iBuyer overpaid for sure because the profit margin, unless they were going to add square footage, it doesn't make any sense. Now, if they add square footage, they could make 50, 60 grand, no problem. But people are willing to pay for convenience. Don't think it's all about money because in today's world, it is not all about money. I have lost listings recently because the wholesaler came in there and offered them their price. And I could have got that person $50,000 more by signing with me. And it would only take me 30 days to sell their property. It was solid data, solid data. He didn't want that offer. He wanted to sell and not have the stress. He was willing to sell for $50,000 less, not to have the stress. So it's not all about price. All right, so let's keep going. So cash offer leads, you have to be running cash offer leads to add to the database. And you can connect with EXP iBuyers. You can connect with other local investors. You should have a local investor database that you can reach out to, see what their buy box is. Normally, they're like around 70 cents on the dollar. So cash offer leads, how you work those is I work with a group of investors that will pay. So how this system works is I come out, I view your property. I'm going to tell you exactly what the investor offers are going to be. And you guys can make a decision from there. There's no commissions because I'm going to get my commissions from the investors. Or I have another method and we could talk about listing the property on the open market if the math doesn't work for you. Would that be okay? And so when you're on the listing appointment, then you swap it. If the math doesn't work, then you swap it to a listing appointment. They think it's a cash offer appointment. You swap it to a listing appointment while you're in the house and you get them to sign the listing agreement because you're going to make them $50, $60, $100,000 more than the investor offer. So the reason why cash offer work is because they're mentally thinking they're going to sell their house today. They're all excited. If you go into that appointment just as a regular real estate agent, you're not going to get that appointment. They don't want you coming over. They don't want to talk to a real estate agent. And that's okay. But their tune changes when like some of these things will go on. And like I went on this one in Arizona. This is a month ago, and he's on my list to follow up. He wants 1.9 for his house. He has an appraisal for 2 million. And I'm thinking like a cash offer is gonna be like 1.5. He's not taking 1.5. I already know that on the phone. So is it worth my time to go there and do the song and dance about, oh, investors, da 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 da. Yeah, it is because I'm trying to get FaceTime with this person, knowing that I can help them list on the open market and I can get them way more than 1.5. Can I get 1.9? I don't know. Can I get 1.8? Yeah, I think I get 1.8. But I'm not going to get that opportunity unless I get in that house and I start building rapport. And I can't push that hard while I'm in that house, even though I want to. I'm a driver personality, so it comes out sometimes. But I'm gonna set that appointment for later on and follow up. And when they're ready, hopefully I'm in that running. But I've already seen the house. So live example of a cash offer lead that was ran through Lofty, I believe. So okay, let's which is a EXP website thing that you guys get. So I'm assuming half the audience has Lofty, half of them have Bold Trail, some of them have Sync and stuff like that. So all right, so we talked about cash offer leads. How about sign calls? We just closed a house 2 days ago from a sign call, and the awesome buyers we were. I think they were Vietnamese. The name was Win Win, and don't ask me how to spell it. It was like an NG something or other, all that stuff. But um, he was very reluctant to set an appointment. We set the appointment. I actually set the appointment for one of my agents. I was in California. I set the appointment for my agent in Arizona. He went there. He spent an hour and a half with that person, first time home buyers, hour and a half with that person without a commitment. And so he was a fantastic person to have the patience, with this first time home buyer that's very reluctant to trust other people. And he sat there educating this person for an hour and a half. That was fantastic. And we didn't even sell that house. We sold a different house. And it took him a week to actually sign the buyer broker agreement to commit to my agent. But he spent that much time. There's very few agents out there that will spend that much time educating somebody because their needs are always put first before the clients. So this is a lesson that I wanted to share with you guys today is put the client's needs, put their education first over your time because it does pay. I want you to consider that. All right. So sign calls, they're still important. There's company out there, and I can't remember if EXP has one or not. I thought they had Grasshopper lead system or whatever. But anyways, you guys can Google that. Figure out think about your signage. Your signage for years could just have your cell phone number. Well, people are reluctant to go to a cell phone. So how about a QR code? I used to hate QR codes. I like them now because people are willing to scan them now. They're not just for marketing. In the past, they were just for marketing. Nobody would scan them because the phones weren't that great and all that stuff. There was major problems. Today, I think you should have a QR code on there. And it should go to your website or a way to communicate. That's one way to do it. But I also think, more importantly, you should have a sign writer says text for price, and you should have your cell phone number, call to see this house. Now, what that does is you're going to get more people texting for price than you will call for the house because they just want to know the price. And guess what you're doing? You're building a database. You're building an interest list for that house or that neighborhood or that city, and that's valuable. Those are free leads when you have that listing. Okay. Another thing I'm seeing is people posting on Facebook Marketplace. We used to use Craigslist. Some people are still using Craigslist. I haven't been on Craigslist in a long time, but for free leads, there's ways to post on Facebook Marketplace. Guys can do it. Your competition's definitely doing it. And think about dilapidated properties. Think about how do I build my investor database? People are scouring these things to start looking at that. All right. I want to go to, I know we're running out of time. I want to go to open houses. Most people are doing open houses. I had dinner with a really good friend of mine, luxury real estate agent. The most he ever did was $200 million in real estate here in Scottsdale. And he's got 30 million in escrow. I'm trying to recruit him, right? And he knows this and all this and all that. And we had a good discussion last night. But he's got $30 million in escrow. He's double ending a lot of his deals. He's in high-end real estate in Scottsdale. And he's doing open houses. He's also got three builds that are going on of like $40 million worth of new construction that he's building, three different houses. I toured one this morning, and that one was amazing this morning. The views were intense. And he's looking at making anywhere from $1 million to $3 million on his new construction bills if they all hit, right? That's always the risk. But he's building houses. He's been in real estate for 30 years and he's still doing open houses. And the results are he's double ending properties. He's meeting people that are maneuvering, and most of his clientele is above 50 years old. So and the reason why I'm telling you the story is it's relevant to everybody here, because if somebody that is this successful, that is got multiple things going on in real estate, is still doing open houses, there shouldn't be an excuse that I'm not going to do open houses, right? Open houses don't work. Well, let's figure out how to make them work, because it is happening. All right. The next thing I want to say is investors are still buying real estate. So in my neighborhood, I've got my neighborhood in Scottsdale that's transitioning. And I was flipping this house. I ended up keeping it during COVID. And the land value has skyrocketed. And so there's certain areas, there's certain neighborhoods in probably every city in America, is my guess, that there's neighborhoods transitioning. Well, there are people that are willing to sell, and there's people that will buy those to scrape them and to rebuild. I had a text from a guy that's going to come work with me here pretty soon out of Detroit here the other day. He's like, Brent, I need a script for buying some of these houses because this whole street's going to be eminent domain because they're putting a freeway or something like that in there. I gave him a script, and he's going to go door knocking. So this is working. There are investors, and he's going to try to go lock those up and flip them to the investor. He can make more money. He can make, a lot more money doing that than he could just 3% because his price points were pretty low. But he can make, let's just say, $20,000 a deal versus like $6,000. So it makes more sense for him to do that. So anyways, they're still buying. We need to talk to wholesalers, because the wholesalers are investors themselves. So that's a built-in buyer, and they have inventory. They have inventory that we can sell our other buyers for, or we can connect to other investors to try to get those listings. Now, hard money lenders, I want to tie that into wholesalers, and I want to tie that into investors. I will be here in about an hour. I will be touring a lot that is $3 million in Mesa, Arizona, where I grew up, that went to foreclosure or it was given back to the lender. And it's a 60 unit development deal. It's just vacant land, but it was zoned for that. It was approved for that. They couldn't afford it, or the values went down, or rents went down. And so the deal did not pencil for that person. Okay. Well, it'll pencil for somebody else at a lower price. So when I hear opportunities, I want to go see it so I can pitch it to somebody else and try to put a deal together. So this guy, this agent that I'm going to go meet to go see this deal, he got it from a lender that was a hard money lender that took the property back. So we're seeing that happen in California. We're seeing that happen. We're seeing that happen in Arizona. I would imagine it's happening across the country in certain markets. In Florida, it's definitely happened. And there's opportunity for local investors or local agents to go after the local investors to get the listings. and to go after the hard money lenders or the local banks. So very important. The next thing I wrote down, I know we're almost out of time. Property management companies, not all property management companies sell. So I want everybody on the call to go be friends with property management companies that don't list real estate. Start taking them out to lunch. Hey, how can I refer business to you? And how can you refer business to me? I'm okay with paying you a 25% referral fee, a 30% referral fee, a 35% referral fee on deal two, a 40% deal three. If you send me 10 a year, you're getting 40% on every single one of them. I thank you for your business. Oh, Brandon, I don't want to pay 40%. You took them to lunch one time. It's duplicatable. Remember at the beginning of this, I want duplicatable business. So I don't have to always go out and prospect. How do I set up my business to be duplicatable and predictable? It's for relationships. And if you build relationships with people that have transactions, more than one transaction, that's a huge part of staying in this business and having predictable income in the real estate business. The other things that are selling right now, Scottsdale had like 7,000 Airbnbs. And there's a lot of people selling their Airbnbs. They're underperforming all over the place. This is well known. So if any of you guys are in Florida, any of you guys are in vacation spots, the Smoky Mountains, and certain places, think about the Airbnbs of how do I prospect them? How do I get in the Facebook groups to talk to them in order to pull all that stuff out? And I think I will stop there and see if I can answer any questions for everybody on the call.
I'll give everyone else an opportunity to jump in before I do. Anyone have any questions? By the way, I have to say, Brent, your comment earlier in the call about how suits are going to win over the guy in shorts for the listing appointments every time. I'm like, I lived in Encinitas. I'm not sure it's entirely true in that market.
Well, you know what? You can get away with some of that if you have deep relationships, right?
Totally.
But if you're going on an appointment and it's $2 million and they're interviewing real estate agents, it matters to them more than your friendship. And you owe it to them, right? You owe it to them to be the most professional real estate agent and the best choice and the most undeniable choice. And so just think about that as your presentation of how are you perceived to your clientele, to the people that are around you. And I learned this. This is one lesson. I learned this from mentors in the past. I learned it from my dad. And then I slacked off. I was going to some conferences and stuff, and with Rick, and Rick was always in his suits. And so, and then I'm like, "Why are you guys in a suit and we're in Cabo?" And he goes, "Well, because this is a professional business, and I want to be perceived this way." And so I started wearing sport jackets. I wear jeans and a sport jacket to all of those events. I'm not in shorts in
Mhm.
Cabo anymore. So
Yep.
I was 1 year. And then I stopped doing that because of Rick. So, anyways, so go
One
ahead.
of the sharpest dressers we all know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone want to take a moment to ask any questions? We still have a couple minutes, or we can wrap up if not, if everyone's just processing that giant amount of information that Brent just bestowed upon us.
Sorry, I was talking a little fast, but I was trying to get through it all.
Well,
But
that's why we recorded and we put it on YouTube. I already saw someone in the comments say that they're going to come back and rewatch it. So you can always find us on YouTube. But if no one has any questions, I will just say thank you, Brent, so much for
okay.
taking time to share what's worked for you. This was really helpful. I mean, some of it was really unique information, and some of it is a reminder to really get back to basics and just get really clear on how we need to be showing up every day to be winning in our businesses. So awesome. Thank you so much. We've got a great call next week. We're bringing on Kaya Jordan. She runs an incredible business out of Florida, servicing sports and entertainment clients, athletes. This is like white glove, like you've never seen it before. I'm going to drop the link right there if you're interested in it. This is beyond just, if an athlete is in town with his wife, she's making sure that that wife has a group of friends to go to a Pilates class with. She's filling their home with groceries while they're in town, at their home that she helped them buy. So it's really, really interesting. I would encourage you to come. Thank you, Brent, for your time. Oh, Joanna, you have a quick question. What do you use for
Pleasure.
your Almany presence?
Omnipresence?
Omnipresence. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so you mentioned that, to be kind of be everywhere, right? So kind of like what platforms do you use um to put yourself everywhere, right? Because like you said, like sometimes it's overwhelming because I know like I that's what I'm going through right now. It's trying to kind of be everywhere and it's just trying to get myself there.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what type of business you're going after, right?
Mhm.
So, if it's just, I really believe in target marketing and knowing the target, right? The goal is, hey, I want to be famous in my neighborhood. I want to be famous in my city. Well, it's going to be a less qualified lead in the city. It's not impossible, but what do you want to be known for? And so, I think I would identify that question first. What do I want to be known for? And then how do I create omnipresence for being known for that? And so, meaning that you're a great listing agent in this specific location, in this specific city, you're the go to person. And then build it around that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I
So,
have to say this omnipresence thing that really stuck out to me. I definitely try to be omnipresent, and sometimes it feels like it's working, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't. But then when I have friends who I haven't seen in a while, who I run into them and they say, "Wow, it looks like you're just so busy building your business. I see it all the time." I'm like, it doesn't feel like people are seeing it all the time because you don't get so many likes if you're not putting enough money behind your posts on Instagram or whatever, but they actually are seeing it.
yeah.
And so, don't be discouraged if you're not getting the, interaction you're hoping for online. I think just being consistent is more important than anything. So, anyway, my 2 cents on that. We're at the top of the hour. We're actually over by a minute. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you, Brent, for your time. We will provide the recording to all of you, and we will see you hopefully next week on Thursday again with Kaya Jordan. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.